lowest form of life is a man or a woman who can do things to these young children that they have done. I mean, I just get sick in my stomach when I hear about some of these stories.
Crimes against children, especially sexual assault by nature, is a very private crime. It's a crime that happens behind closed doors. Very rarely are there any witnesses to crimes like that. So there are very specific things that have to be done in an investigation like that. And those things are done at the Edmondson-Telford Center for Children because it provides basically the perfect environment to get those steps in the process completed.
We know that communities that have child advocacy centers like the Edmondson-Telford Center, we know that there are faster charging decisions made, a higher conviction rate, and we know there are longer sentences.
The children that come to us have experienced acute trauma. And I think everyone would agree, the last thing you want a child that's been through a traumatic event to experience is more trauma.
The center started because shortly after I came to office, I learned that there was not a lot of good conversation between some of the parties that were involved in investigating child abuse, neglect cases. And so we all began to talk and found that we were all interested in providing a better service for these children.
We serve children. We serve child abuse victims. We serve those victims in a certain fashion. We collect evidence. Then that evidence we gather and we coordinate with the investigative and prosecuting agencies and the other human services agencies that are involved in sort of that collective process. We coordinate that.
It's a child-friendly place where children are interviewed when there are allegations of sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, or allegations that they've witnessed a violent crime.
The first step in the process is usually a forensic interview. And that's a very specific type of interview. It's a very specific process. It's basically the foundation for a criminal case. It's our first shot and our best shot, really our only shot, at getting the child's statement.
The interview involves just myself and the child in a room alone. And the interviews are videotaped and fed to a room where law enforcement and sometimes DFACs watch. The interview really is about them talking and telling me as much as they can about what happened or what they witnessed.
They come here, they see the walls are painted, they see things to play with. The interview rooms are set up and designed for those children to be able to color and paint and do other things while they're being interviewed.
They may or may not have a medical exam should it be necessary in their case.
Those exams are also done at the Edmondson-Telford Center for Children. That's very helpful because before the child will either have to go to the emergency room or the child would have to go to Children's Health Care of Atlanta. And again, there was a lot of travel involved for the child, and now they just go to one central location.
When they come into the center, they know that they are loved, that they are valued, that they've not done anything wrong. There's nothing for them to be ashamed of or feel bad about. And then that child begins at that moment the process of overcoming in a more positive way the bad things that have happened to them.
It also helps the process so that they're not talking to a whole bunch of different people about the same thing. It can be done as almost always a one-shot thing, and then they're done and can move forward with their lives.
So the MDRT, or the multidisciplinary team, meets at the Edmondson-Telford Center generally once a month, and we review all active child cases in the jurisdiction. That brings together law enforcement, child services, the district attorney's office, the forensic interviewers and the medical professionals and the team from the Edmondson-Telford Center. Each of us has different information about the case. For example, DFACs might have different information about that particular case than what law enforcement has.
Provides us a process where there's 20 sets of eyes on this case, and then we can discuss the case in detail. And if there's an idea that an investigator from a different agency has than the agency investigating the case, they can speak up and say, have you tried this idea or that? And give maybe the lead investigator a new idea or a new direction to go in.
And all the different players will come in and say, oh, well, I can help with this part, or I can help with that part. I can do this. If you could do that, then I could do this other. And the children are just served so beautifully.
It really helps to make sure that cases don't get overlooked or get bypassed because we have multiple views.
The Stewards of Children program we began doing a few years ago, and it is specifically geared toward educating adults and how their everyday decisions can affect or put children at risk or minimize their risk. That has been a phenomenal program in terms of really, I think, increasing the education, the awareness, and I believe has made a huge impact on disclosures of abuse. And not just that, but I have to believe that it's prevented cases of abuse.
It really has helped the community become smarter, more aware, and also helps us serve the children more effectively.
Our goal is to go out of business, but because children are abused, we are here, and the community helps us stay open. They do that through a variety of ways. We have the Embrace Race, which is a 5K. We have Celebrity Server Night at Mellow Mushroom, where people can come out and support, have dinner. We have a golf tournament, the Phil Negro Golf Tournament, that we have every year as well. It raises money to help us keep the lights on. The Junior League in this community has had tremendous support, and so the community has been very instrumental at giving us not just dollars, but grants and avenues to stay up to speed on the current technology and the best equipment to yield the best evidence.
It's not one person or two or three that makes this thing work. It's a combination of all these people coming in year after year after year, and probably a lot of people don't know who they are. And we don't care if they know who we are. That's how much we believe in it. We just want to make it work.
We are so fortunate here to have the Edmondson-Telford Center, and I feel like it's just made a tremendous difference in how we're able to prosecute cases.
I'm not really sure how this would work without a child advocacy center. There would be a lot of cases that were not prosecuted and maybe not even investigated fully if we did not have a child advocacy center.
If we did not have this center, it would be very difficult for us to investigate properly the cases that we get in, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse. Those allegations, it would be almost impossible for us to properly get the information that we needed.
The crime itself is already traumatizing enough. The child's already been through plenty. And so anything that we can do to make the process of investigating that crime and getting justice for that child less impactful on them, that's what we need to do.
We know why we're here. And that's the good feeling about it is, you know, when you come here or you be a part of this organization, you are a part of a family.
Because the world can be a dangerous place for kids, we are here. And we are here to collect evidence and provide services in the most compassionate, child-friendly way possible. We are here to educate, to limit and reduce, if not eliminate, those risks to children.